Hi guys, welcome back to another podcast with The Whole Truth. If you're new here and you don't know what The Whole Truth is, we're basically an Instagram gossip page. So we chat about all the things that are happening within the Instamum community. So pretty much, it's kind of like a real life Gossip Girl. You might see something that you think might be newsworthy. So you take a screenshot of it or a screen recording, and then you send that through to the page, and then the page will then post that anonymously for you, and then we all chat about it in the comments. So it's just like that safe place where you can go and write about something, chat about something, and don't have to worry about being blocked. But anyway, today's video is actually, I've got a few videos that are in mind. Like at the moment, there are so many topics that are happening on Instagram that I'm dying to talk about, but work has been crazy. But anyway, I had this one sent through to me yesterday, and I haven't really watched all of it. So I started off watching the first couple, and I was like, oh my God. It's about Juliana. So it's her live in the car where she's chatting. And I mean, I don't really ever feel sorry for Juliana because I feel like she sort of made her bed. But there's a lot of points on here where I do agree with her and a lot of points where I disagree. But I'm actually finding myself agreeing with her a little bit more on this live. But anyway, I watched the start of it, so who knows where I'm going to feel by the end of it because we're going to be watching it together. But I just thought we'd play it and just go through it because there's a lot of allegations she makes in there, and that's only the start of it. So let me just play the start and we'll go through it, and I'll just pause it and just say what I think I need to say as we go along.
So I wrote a check for like almost $600, and I was like, just take this and pay them. He didn't. Oh, and in exchange for me paying all of the daycare, I was like, you can give me $200 from your check. Like, you can pay for 200 of it. That's the least you can do. So he starts gaslighting the fuck out of me. And I don't even...
So in case you're wondering, she is talking about bread. So this is just where the person that recorded it popped in. She's talking about bread. She's saying that she gave Bread a check for $600 and asked him to pay the daycare, and he didn't pay this daycare center.
I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm like, you can give me $200. And he's just completely acting oblivious to the words coming out of my mouth. Like, acting like he doesn't all of a sudden understand fucking English. So he's like, yeah, never gave me the money, never paid the daycare again. And I just think that's so fucking sorry. Like, y'all, since the moment my children exited my body, every single thing they have was from mommy. Every house, every piece of food that entered their stomach, every piece of clothing that's been on their back, all of their needs, all of their wants, birthdays, Christmas, holidays, whatever, is from mommy.
Now, obviously we know that this is the case, but we can't forget that Bread did go to jail for her. Like, you both got busted selling your drugs or whatever. Bread took the rap. She was pregnant with Cecilia. And so, he went to jail. And then you can't really blame him in this instance, like up until now, because they had a deal, She would work from home, and then Bread would look after the kids at home, all right? So I don't feel like, as a team, like as husband and wife, if you've got one person at home looking after the kids, that is a pretty fair deal that, you're still providing for them. Otherwise, you need to put them in daycare and whatnot. And we all know that Juliana was not going to look after those kids on her own at home. So even though, Bread did have a pretty good wicket, so did she, because she wasn't having to do, anything. Like, he was doing all the washing and the cleaning and looking after the kids and stuff like that. And not to mention, she didn't allow him to have a job back then. Like, she would always say to him, like, get a job. But then when it came down to the crunch and he first got his job, she made such a big deal out of it because she likes being in control. She loves going on these lives and being able to degrade him because she's like, I wear the pants in this relationship. I make the money. I provide everything. But what she's forgetting, that Bread was also providing because he was looking after those children. And he was washing their clothes. And he was doing the dishes and mopping the floors. Like, that is still providing for your children. Not everything is about money, okay?
And I don't know how a man can sit there with a full-time job and not say, is there anything you need? Is there anything the kids need? Bash is still in pull-ups. Lena is still in pull-ups. For those that don't know, she's autistic, so she wears pull-ups. At school, she does great. When she comes home, not so much.
That seems to me like a little bit of a red flag. Like, I don't know Lena's situation. I don't even think Juliana knows Lena's situation. There was a lot of speculation back at the start that Lena did have autism. And when people used to say, they talk about it on these gossip pages, they're like, it's possible that she has autism. There was just things that she did and said, and people made those assumptions. And, Juliana would go off her brain about it. She's like, how dare you? There is nothing wrong with my child. Blah, blah, blah. And then, all of a sudden, she's owning that Lena has issues. So now she's saying, well, Lena's having issues with toilet training and this and that. And she claims it. But, this is Juliana. If she had taken Lena to any doctor's appointment, that it would be on her story. It would be on her posts. If there was any sort of appointments like that, I'm assuming she would post about them because there's nothing else. If you're going to sit there and go live and talk about how your child wets the bed like she did with Cecilia, then, I don't think you're going to care about sharing that you're going to a doctor's appointment. If you're sharing they have autism and these sort of things. But what's concerning there is when she said, at school she does well, but when she's home she doesn't do so well. And usually with kids, it's the other way around. They go to school and they kind of forget to go to the toilet, or there's so many sensory issues because there's so much going on at school that it sort of disrupts their routine. So it's kind of weird to me that, and I'm not a doctor, so, I'm not going to make any allegations, but I just find it kind of odd that she has more issues at home than she does at school. And then, let's not forget Cecilia's, I don't know what grade Cecilia's in, but she's, older. And, Juliana's openly said that she's been wetting the bed quite a bit. And all kids, they learn at different levels, but I don't know. I just feel this one's a little bit weird because generally kids, with toilet training, they're at home and there's a lot less distractions in school. So they generally do a bit better. But anyway, I'll continue.
We're working on it, but she also has intestinal issues. That's a whole other story. Which, let's talk about medical bills, but no, we won't go there. Everything is handled by mommy. And the thought never occurred to you that, you know what? I have 4 human beings walking this earth that I created. And not only did a woman take care of me the past 10 years and my children, but she's still taking care of me as you drive the vehicle I paid for, wearing the clothes I bought. If you didn't think, you know what? Let me throw her some money for daycare.
Now, I totally agree with this. So, apparently now Brett is working a full-time job again. And in the past, he got a job and Juliana, cracked it and was I don't know. She made a big deal out of it anyway. And she was texting him all day at work. He ended up leaving the job. But now he's I don't know if it's the same job, but he's back at work and he's working full-time. Now, before, I can back Brett because I'm hey, he's looking after the kids. He's providing for them because maybe he's not buying monetarily things, but he's caring for them. He's watching them every day. He's cooking for them. He's cleaning. He's doing the things he needs to do so that she can go to work and they're a team. But now, if he's going to work and they're paying for daycare, he needs to pay everything half-half. Juliana's not responsible for everything now. Before he was playing his part because he was looking after the children. But now there's daycare and he actually has a job. And it should be half-half. I don't even know, these guys are married, and I know some people have separate bank accounts, but that's, really, really weird to me. But anyway, I totally agree with her here. Brett needs to pull his finger out and start paying up. If he's working a full-time job and she's paying everything, where is his money going? I've got to agree with her. He needs to be paying half-half. And if he is gambling like she claims, you'll see that in a little bit. If he is gambling, that's fine. You can still gamble as long as you pay all your other bills. You know what I mean? As long as you pay for your children, he should be paying half the groceries. He should be paying half their daycare, half the utilities, the house. If the house is in her name, then really she should be paying the house part of it. But most people, when they are in that situation, the one person will pay for the groceries, the other person will pay for the house. But at the end of the day, they're married, so they split up. Really, he'd take half. But right now, she doesn't own the house. They're just renting it. He should be paying half the rent. He should be paying half the rent, half the daycare, half the food, half the electricity bill, phone bill, whatever. Half of that should be paid by him.
Yeah, Yeah, he has a job. Literally has a landscaping job. So, and then makes me feel crazy because I got upset inside. I'm like, at this point, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but like, at this point, you're spitting in my fucking face. Like, this is the fourth week in a row, where he has said, I have money for you, or I have money for daycare, or I'm paying daycare, and then doesn't do it. And then gets an attitude with me, like I don't have a reason to be upset.
Right. 4 weeks in a row, and she's allowing this to go on. Do not enable his shitty behaviour. You know, whatever he's doing with the money, it's not okay. If it's not going towards daycare, and like, I don't know. This could be, I feel like sooner or later, Juliana and Brett will get a divorce, and I feel like everything is going to come out. Like, right now, you know, Brett's on a pretty good wicket, so he's like just keeping his mouth shut. But I feel like when shit gets nasty, you know, if they break up, it's going to be bad. Like, he is going to spill so much stuff about her. But, you know, 4 weeks in a row, stop enabling him. She does the same thing with her brother. You cannot enable them and then complain about it. Like, if you're going to allow something to continue, then don't fucking complain about it, you know?
But then I'm wrong if I take the car. Because that's what I said. I was like, at this point, you are spitting in my face. You are disrespecting the hell out of me with your lying. And I have to pay fees. Every time my kid's daycare doesn't get paid, I have to pay an extra fee. So
the car thing kind of annoys me a little bit because at the end of the day, I feel like the car should be his. You know, like, she bought that car for him to drive the kids around in or whatever. When they were fully together, he was the stay-at-home dad and she was the working mum. I feel like he's earned that car. Like, in the last 8 years or whatever it's been. I feel like he's earned that car because he's, like, been driving around and stuff. And I mean, if they got divorced tomorrow, there's a good chance that he's going to get that car because that's just how it works. You know, if you're married so long, it's just how it works. So I feel like it's really stupid trying to hold the car over his head all the time. Like, if you don't want him to have the car, sell the fucking car. But he's not a teenage boy where you can just confiscate his keys when he doesn't know what he's told. It doesn't work like that. So either take the car off him or give him the damn car. You know, I just feel like all of these things that she has given him are like a thing to control him. And they're never going to get out of this. Like, sell the car, make him buy his own car, whatever. But at the end of the day, he's the father of your kids. He's got to drive your kids around. He needs a fucking car. So you can't just take the car off him when you feel like it and then give it back to him when you need him to drive your kids around.
you're telling me you're paying it, and then I get emailed that it's 2 weeks late.
I would be totally pissed too. Just saying. I would be so pissed.
Right. So
Right.
now I'm wrong because I'm like, well, I'm taking the car back and I'm going to sell it.
Do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, at this point,
I feel like I'm actually talking to it.
on like getting a lawyer and going through with the divorce because I didn't have the energy to even do any of that. And like, you know, on dealing with the kids level, like, things are cordial, but it's like, bro, I pay for everything. And I'm starting to, like, when you get out, what's crazy is I lived in this fucking bubble for so long with this man, where for 10 years, I was the only provider. I was busting my ass to take care of everybody. And so I lived in this fucking bubble. And it's like, when you get out into the real world, or even when you start dating, or you look at your friends and their relationships, and you see that like, that's not how it's supposed to be. Like, if you're married, you have a partnership. Like, this is your partner. They should be bringing just as much to the table as you are.
Now, let's not forget he was doing a lot compared to her. You know, she was at home, yeah, you know, she's doing her It Works business or whatnot, but even she's admitted, like, the last year she's done hardly anything for the business, or her business, or whatever you want to call it. I really want to call it a business, like, I would say her hustle, whatever, but she, you know, he has been going above and beyond, taking the kids where they got to go, like, you know, cooking and cleaning. I get the whole team thing, but you've got to understand as well, like, there's the whole way through this, I heard her saying things like, you know, I see my friends and their men treat them well and this and that, but I can guarantee you that her friends also treat their men well. Like, you cannot expect to just yell at someone and degrade them. Like, there is a point here where she calls him fat. You know, you can't degrade a man like that, especially in front of 252 people are on this live right now. 252 people, and you're going to sit there and call him fat. You know, oh, it is so disrespectful. Like, could you imagine if he went on there and was like, you know, you're flat ass, like, he would never, like, no one would do that. So you cannot expect to have this fantastic relationship if you're not also playing your part. You know, you've got to give to take.
He should be wanting to provide for you and your children just as much as you do. And I think that's why I'm so frustrated, because it's like, bro, fuck the money. It's the principle. It's the fucking mindset. I didn't mean to spit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
ew.
It's the fact that your mindset is that fucked up that you can sleep at night knowing you're out here making money and lying to me about helping and then doing God knows what with it. Because you know I'm going to handle it. Exactly. Because they know I'm going to handle it. They know Juliana will pick up the pieces. My parents do the same shit when it comes to my brother. Doesn't matter what happens to Drew. We don't have to worry about it because we know Juliana's got it. That shit is fucking exhausting. I bust my ass every single fucking day. Every day. I woke up this morning and literally had a full-blown panic attack that Julia had to talk me down from. And you know what I did? I turned around and I got to work. Because I don't have the choice to say, I don't feel like taking care of my kids today. I don't feel like providing for them financially. I don't get that choice. And I have this fat fucking motherfucker ruining my life and then makes me feel like I'm crazy.
Can you believe she just called him a fat motherfucker? And I cannot imagine speaking about my husband that way. How can you speak about your husband that way? You're on there. There's 251 people on this live right now, and she just called him a fat motherfucker, and she expects him to, like, respect her. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. As soon as she said those words, I was just like, you're out of control. Like, you are out of control.
I literally despise him. I'm like, I don't know how you sleep at night. I really don't. Like, you lie straight to my face. It's unreal. Straight to my face. Yeah, like, I don't need to take it to court to do anything with the kids or whatnot, because number one, I do and always will make more money than him. So child support wise, I don't see that being worth it. And it's not like I'm trying to take from his pockets. I'm more upset at, like, the lack of wanting to provide for your family.
Now, I cannot believe, even after everything that's come out and after her downlines and uplines have actually quit from the company, and she's still trying to maintain, like, she makes all this money, and it's really sad. Like, she still is acting like she's a millionaire. Like, she admits that her money's dropped, but there is, like, a couple of things that she tries to, like, put into this live that she makes excuses for it. Like, I think at some point she's like, you know, now bread's left. Like, I've lost 40% of my income. She still has that account as bread under her. Like, that has not been closed. It's just gone down a lot in how much it's been making. And she's trying to, like, make out like that's the reason why she's not making the money. I don't know how you can sit there and be like, oh, I make so much money. And then someone has literally just came out a couple of weeks beforehand and been like, well, the top 10, like number 10 income earner is making $13,000 a month. Okay, $13,000 a month. And Juliana's like, not even on the list this year. Like, I think last year she was like, it was like 73rd. The year before was like 97th or something. So how can you sit there and claim you make all this money and you got someone that's like coming 10th and you're like at 100 and they're only making $13,000 a month, but you're sitting there claiming to make $50,000. And now if you go on your YouTube and you watch Jessica Hickson, and you'll kind of see why and how these girls have been trained to, like, manipulate numbers. So, like, say you get like a bonus or whatever, like a signing bonus or maybe it like was a promotional bonus and you get like a $10,000 bonus. You have to maintain your rank every month to get that. So you might have got a heap of bonuses. Like there was one time there where she was like, I made 30,000, and then like a year later she tried to claim back then that she actually made like $30,000 that month. Never has that actually been her income. That is when you're putting all the bonuses on there. So, you know, she might have made like a $10,000 bonus and a $20,000 bonus, but she doesn't get paid out that $30,000. It sits there. It makes it look like that's what she made for the month, but that's not actually what she made for the month. So when you're looking at that distributor thing and everyone's like, oh, it doesn't make much sense. Like, how is it that it's saying that? They're not, you know, when you get a bonus with It Works, it gets divided by like the next 24 months, but on your actual pay slip for that month, like not the pay slip, but like the distributor, you know how they've got the disclosure, whatever it is. They're saying like, so say I made like $10,000 for the month as my actual thing. So say I was coming 10th in the company and I made $10,000 for that month, but I also made two $10,000 bonuses, right? That $20,000 doesn't get paid to me in that month. But on the disclosure, it says I made $30,000 for that month. I would count towards making $30,000 that month. But really, that's not what I made. And that whole bonus gets divided over the 24 months. So really, you know, you're only like making an extra $1,000 or so every month. And then if you don't make your promotional bonus, that stops. Like, that's the end of it. I think there was like a point where, I don't know if it was in It Works, but I think it is actually It Works, where they would be like, oh, okay, like we're going to extend this bonus or whatever. And you get the chance again. But, you know, if you did not maintain that rank, every single bonus that you've acquired, you lose that. So you never actually get that $10,000. You might get for the first couple of months while you're maintaining it, but then after that, you lose that. So the month where she was like, oh, I made $30,000, it was actually just all bonuses. And half of those bonuses, she probably wouldn't have even gotten paid out because we know that she did lose her rank. So it was kind of interesting, like watching all of those NEMLM videos, and you see how they've manipulated these numbers and like how they're taught to do that to make it look like they're super successful. But at no point was she actually making that as an income. So that time when she was like, oh, like even if she made $50,000 and she said that's, you know, I made $50,000 this month, she'd actually get $50,000, you know, that was just like say 10,000, it was actually her money, and the rest of that's like bonuses, which would be divided in 24 months. You're getting a small portion of that, and then that gets wiped as soon as you don't maintain your bonus, which obviously we know she didn't. I think I kind of repeated myself there, but I just want to make sure that you understand the way the income disclosure, and that's why when you watch a lot of these NEMLMs, they're like, what the hell? I don't understand this income disclosure because nobody's making that amount of money. So really, if they weren't, you know, being a little bit elusive here, they wouldn't be putting that this person made $30,000 a month. They'd be putting, you know, $14,000 or $12,000 or whatever it is with that bonus divided through the 24 months because they didn't actually get that up front. So it's really deceiving, I think. You know, just the way I've looked over it, I'm like, what the hell? So at no point where she actually had $30,000. And I remember at the time, like now she's like, I was making $50K a month. That's not true. Back then she said she made $30K 1 month. She was like, I made $30K a month, okay? And that was because it had the bonuses included. This is not a consistent thing at all.
You know, like these are your kids. You haven't bought a single diaper. You haven't bought a single outfit. You haven't bought a single meal for your kids. And your oldest one is 8. I couldn't sleep at night.
How many meals do you reckon Juliana's actually cooked for her children? Because I can guarantee you he's probably cooked way more meals than she has. You know, I understand it now, I get it, but do not drag him for the last 8 years. You can't do that. Like, you can drag him for the time when he's had a job, but for the time before that, he was pulling his weight, he was doing the right thing. A lot of people's husbands don't even do that. Like, she was blessed to have that happening. So, you can't drag him for the last 8 years. I'm sorry, he put in his fair share.
So what I meant as far as like going to court was just getting the divorce finalized and getting away from him. Like, you don't even have to take your kids at all. Like, I'll figure it out. Like, I'm not going to force anybody to get the kids if they don't want them. Like, I'll figure it out. But it's like, I've been so nice. I've been so understanding for so long. And I don't have to be. Like, you fucked me so hard in life. You used me. This man stole almost 6 figures from me and gambled it away.
Right, so she just threw out an allegation that Brett has stole almost $100,000 from her and gambled it. So is it weird that we haven't heard about this before, or is this something that's just happened recently? Like, $100,000 is a lot to gamble, and I feel like, you know, we're going from, like, small things to, like, larger things. Like, it started off with, like, he stole my card and he bought Wendy's, to he sold the Xbox that I bought him, and this, that, and whatever. And now she's claiming that he stole almost $100,000 to gamble.
My hard-earned money that could have been in my kids' college funds or whatever. You fucked me so hard, and I'm still being nice to you. I'm still allowing you to drive the vehicle that I bought. Still allowing you to be with your kids anytime you want. Still respecting you.
Oh boy. This is not respect, Juliana. Like, how can you sit there and diss him and call him a fat motherfucker and say that you're still sitting here respecting him? What? Like, oh my God. Oh, I just can't. Anyway, I'm going to leave this video here because I just realized it's at like, podcast here. It's at like 26 minutes already. And I don't even feel like I've been talking this long because her video is only 8. So I've been yabbering for a while. But I'll leave it at this. There's going to be like a part 2, part 3 probably, because there's a few little snippets that I want to go through. But this is the first one that was sent to me. And there's probably about 8 snippets, I think. But I've just, oh my God, like, there's some wild allegations. Like, you just called him a fat motherfucker and then just claimed that he's almost sold $100,000 from you. Oh, man. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in part 2. Bye.